Hello everybody, May 9th, 2023. We're going to take a look at Bitcoin's action over the weekend and today. First, what I said on Friday. Last week we had a path for the bears to take for immediate continuation, but if Bitcoin got above 29.7, then that immediate continuation was not necessarily going to happen, but it wasn't necessarily bullish. And it was all potentially part of this larger B wave. So we did see Bitcoin break above 29.7 last week, by Friday, and that invalidated the bear setup, as I said. But it really had been all trash. I said that over and over again. It's all trash. It's choppy overlapping action, no bullish structure that would indicate any further upside. I laid out the only possible thing the bulls could do, which was a 5-wave diagonal. So we'll take a look at that. And the most likely path still was downwards, sub 27K at a minimum is what I'm looking for. And obviously we have seen that begin to play out now. So bigger picture, we still have these scenarios. I'm not going to go over them right this instant. All right, so let's take a look at where we were. Let's see, that's Saturday, Friday. So video literally was right around this top right here where I said, it is not going to do this immediate setup that I was looking for with this danger zone because it broke above 29.7, but potentially it's all part of this larger B wave instead. And so that is in fact what we are looking at, most likely. Meaning this action in here was basically, instead of this being ABC, well, that still is ABC, but basically we've just got a larger WXY within that B wave, just a larger 3-wave move there. So I'm going to move this just for clarity's sake. Yes, that was a 3-wave move, but just so we all know, that was our 3 waves within B there that finished with that move instead. This diagonal you can see on here, I said we only had 3 waves. We had 1, 2, 3. If we could hold here and push up for 5, that was a possible path for the bulls. Obviously we didn't do that. We broke down, which is really what I was expecting it to do. So I'm going to get rid of that diagonal now. That's failed. And we're going to take a look at what the path is now, hopefully, which looks like this is, we're trying to make this larger C wave right here. And that's, from this B down to C. And we should see 5 waves in that. So ideally, this is our 1 and our 2. That looks fairly clean. Not that we can really make out microstructure, but it looks like a pretty obvious 1 and 2. And then for 3 down, we would want to see it hit somewhere in this region between the 1382 and the 1618, which is about 26.6 to 27K. So we haven't quite reached that yet. I would say within the microstructure, we hit the 1, 2, 3, 6. So that's most likely wave 3 of 3. Meaning this is like 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to get another push down here to finish off that 3rd wave. And then another bounce is likely in order, which could go as high as maybe 27.5 again, kind of right where we are. Followed by a 5th wave down, which is, let me move this note out of the way. 5th wave down, like 26 to 26.4 is kind of the ideal location for that, right between the 1764 and the 20 fib of this 1 and 2. So let's just do a little adjustment here if necessary, since this B wave is slightly different. There's our A, there's our B. So this yellow box comes up a little bit. You can see our wave 5 is right within that box pretty beautifully. I'm going to go ahead and put another little box here. That's sort of ideal. It can certainly go lower than this, or bounce at any point within this. It doesn't have to be incredibly clean, but I would prefer it to be a nice clean 5-wave move down, of course, but that's kind of the target I'm looking for, generally. So we'll see if that happens. But as I've said a couple times now, let's go over to the daily. I can show it easier here. First off, the action off of low, the 16 or 15K low, 16K low, whatever it is really not good. There's nothing impulsive about it, and at best it's an A, B, C in a wave 1 and a diagonal, meaning we are going to see a larger 3-wave move down in a second wave, and then we would see a 3-wave move up in a third wave, right? It's not a great look for the bulls, pretty much no matter what. But it is a possibility, and unfortunately, even for this to play out, I would expect this larger yellow box to get hit, which is between the 382 and the 0.65, like that golden pocket area. About 19.7 to 23.8 is kind of the ideal location. So that's this larger yellow box that I have on here. The note that I have on here is that since this target, A, B, C, right here, doesn't quite hit that larger yellow box, that's what this note is, that it's possible we get a WXY to push down there. So basically, if we get to, let's say we get to that box exactly, right, for this to play out, if we then get another 3-wave move up, I'll expect yet another 3-wave move down to get us to this yellow box. And that's really the expectation that I have, unless we get a 5-wave move off the low instead. If we get a 5-wave move off the low, then I'll say, all right, you know what, I'm gonna operate under the assumption that that is actually the bottom. We're not gonna get that, and we'll go from there. With whatever setup it gives us. But that's really the only thing that the bulls can do to potentially put a bottom in sooner. Until that happens, I am expecting that we get, here's the W, X, and Y down further into that yellow box. And because of that, because that's my expectation, it means lots and lots of chop to come. As you saw, this is very, very choppy in here. I would not be surprised to see something very similar continue to play out. You know, this is going to be very choppy all throughout that area if it does do that. So I am shorts. I'm holding on to my shorts. I'm in cash as well. As soon as we saw this breakdown right here, I said, all right, all bullish interpretations are basically gone now except for that diagonal. I want to get out and just sit in cash. And I have not regretted that decision one little bit throughout all of this junky action that we've had. So we'll see what the rest of the week brings. We'll see if we get this move down that I want to see. It's worth noting that at this point, we've broken below the 1.0 extension of this little micro setup. And so if it goes back above 26,200, let's call it, back above the 618, that would pretty much invalidate this micro setup. It does not invalidate my expectation of a WXY. So, you know, we can still have that very choppy action that I was talking about, but it would invalidate this immediate setup anyway. So it's just something to keep an eye on, not something to trade or even necessarily to use as a stop loss or anything, just something to keep an eye on. If it goes above 26 or 28.2, that this is not actually what's going on, and we'll have to continue watching the action to determine what more specifically is happening as more action develops. All right, so I think that's everything I have for you today. I will talk to you all again on Friday. We'll see what the action has brought us at that point. Have a good week.